I did not deserve to see Nikolai's book get hijacked by Lee's need to play out her disguise king. Also, how is Nikolai not the protagonist of his own fucking book? Explain me that. Why the fuck is book Twitter hyping this book up? I really want to know. Like, just give me your reasons, please. It took me 3 weeks to read this stupid ass book. King of Scars was boring as fuck. I don't understand why people are recommending it or even hyping it up. Nikolai Lantsov didn't need this, I didn't need this, you didn't need this. This book didn't have to exist. Also, how does a book with such a pretty cover end up having absolutely nothing on the inside? It's such a waste of a pretty cover. I hate myself for having such high expectations for this book. The first 2 chapters fooled me. It was the biggest clickbait ever. There was so much potential. It was a great start, and that's how my downfall began. I don't even know where to start. So for some semblance of a structure, I'm going to be discussing plot, characters, writing style, rating, pros. No, we're going to skip pros. Cons, and no, there aren't any trigger warnings, so we're going to skip that too. You should actually take a look at my notes. The amount of brain dump that took place after I read this book. I'd show you actually. Hopefully after this video I never think about this stupid book again. Yep. I wrote all that. Let's start with plot. There wasn't one, to be honest. You know when you have to meet a page quota but you can't seem to write enough, so you start adding filler lines? That's this entire book, to sum it up. So basically, Nikolai has a monstrous side, a little present from Darkles who sparkles, and him and his general Zoya race against time to find a cure to get the monster out of him. Meanwhile, Nina Zenik acts as a Ravkin spy, infiltrating Jarl Brum's home to rescue oppressed Grisha in Ravka's enemy country, Fjerda. There's no plot, there's no suspense, there are endless conversations on the Grisha world and how to save it. God, it was so boring. In the Grisha trilogy, Nikolai Lantsov was my favorite character solely because everybody else was devoid of a personality. But unfortunately, he's not really much in this series. Sure, he's mentioned on the cover as the King of Scars, but you don't really see him anywhere else in the book. Yeah, don't even try looking for him. It's as if there's a cardboard version of him standing there and with catchphrases coming out whenever you push a button. It just felt so mechanical. I don't know who fucking cares, but I'm gonna put a spoiler warning up here for what I'm about to say. So you can just scrub through the timeline and you'll know what parts you should miss. But I'd say don't watch the video if you care about spoilers. The book went from having an interesting premise to fillers upon fillers upon fillers to get to the grand plot device of them all.
The resurrection of Darkles who sparkles.
I'm going to get to the resurrection part when we discuss the cons in a bit. I thought Nikolai would show off his socio-political schemes and outwit everyone in the room, but no. Didn't get any of that. Fuck that, we didn't even get Nikolai. Why the hell did Isaac need his own chapters? His story could have been told through a different point of view. It could have been told through Genya's point of view or David's or Tolia and Tamar's. That would have been more interesting because we actually know them from the previous books. Who the hell is Isaac? Even if Isaac is an actual character that Lee wants to introduce properly, he got 2 chapters. How the hell am I supposed to relate to a dude in 2 chapters when I couldn't relate to any of the cast that I've been reading since the past 5 books? I hated everyone in this book. That's not the point. We're going to get to that later. So the thing is, Isaac did all the politics, Isaac did the courting and the attempted assassination and everything, and by the time Nikolai got back, there was nothing left for Nikolai to do. I get that Nikolai's going through things with the monster inside him and all, but how did you guys make him so uninteresting? Like, he's completely devoid of personality in this book. Like I said, cardboard version of himself. By the way, if you didn't read this book, then this video is just not going to make any sense. Just saying, I should have said it in the beginning, but anyways. Someone great once said, a plotless book can be salvaged with great fleshed out characters. Sadly, that's not the case here. That didn't happen either. So this book is written through the POV of my most favorite characters from the Grishaverse, Nikolai Lantsov, Zoya Zelensky, and Nina Zenik. Yet, I hated how they were written, which signifies how important writing is. Yo, does anybody else think that this book was ghost written? I can't be the only one. Had to bring out the artificial light because we lost daylight talking about this book, just like how I lost a couple of years of my life reading it. Nikolai is a fan favorite for a reason. His smart-ass personality is both charming and alluring, but in this book he feels so muted and drenched in anguish. We rarely see him having fun or quipping. Like, don't get me wrong, we get some banter here and there, but it just feels extremely forced. Zoya feels like the actual main character of the book, an unflappable general with scars she refuses to show to the very end. As a reader, that made it very hard for me to connect with her. We get one flashback and one conversation with Nikolai, which kind of reveals a softer side of her, but it's not enough to understand her on a deeper level. I've seen this recycled archetype so many times. I expected Leigh Bardugo to do better. Zoya's character archetype literally feels like
She walked out of a trashy fantasy novel from 2014.
it's old, and not even like in a good vintage old kind of way. It's old. Nina was my favorite character from Six of Crows and King of Scars. You know what would actually make sense? If they called it Queen of Waffles instead of King of Scars, because Nina took over more than half of the book. King of Scars, the title, is the biggest clickbait ever. It would have made more sense if they would have called it Queen of Storms or Queen of Waffles, because it's more of a feminist story. It's more of these women's stories rather than the guy who's mentioned on the cover. So if you're going into this expecting to see a lot of Nikolai and, Nikolai doing this and Nikolai doing that, keep your expectations really low for books and in life. And I love reading female perspectives and even the characters in the book. But don't go on calling it King of Scars. I mean, it should just... I'm tired, man. I'm
Tired.
So there were still some fun moments of Nina, but I just can't ignore how disjointed her plot felt from the main plot. If you're going to bring back beloved characters, make sure that their narrative and their plot actually has a purpose and fits with the main plot of the book. It just felt so disjointed. The scene where Nina was burying Matthias was beautiful and much needed closure for all of us. But then 10 minutes later, Leigh Bardugo introduces us to Nina's new love interest, Hayne, or Hana. The audiobook lady said it's Hana, so I guess it's Hana. I'm sorry, Leigh Bardugo, but I didn't shed so many tears and go through so much pain to see you pairing Nina with a girl that was introduced 5 seconds ago. It didn't feel right to do it as soon as Matthias died. I mean, let her grieve a little.
Let's talk about writing style.
Yo, let's talk about the writing style for a second. There's a lot though. So the writing style, the pacing was unbearable. None of the characters were fleshed out. And the sarcasm didn't properly fit in with the dialogue or event. This almost felt like fan fiction. Like someone writing on because they missed the characters and didn't want the world to end. Not because they actually wanted to write a good, substantial book that could stand on its own. That leads to the next point. This book cannot stand on its own. I liked how Zoya was written in the OG trilogy, but in this one, it just felt as if Leigh wanted to shove down Zoya's beauty and power down my throat, and I didn't like it. It hurt. And Zoya's backstory felt very sloppy and generic. Characters from the past that I really liked, like good three-dimensional characters like Genya, David, Tole Tamar, everyone just fell flat. The Grisha powers felt like you're blindly playing darts in a dark room with a dagger and a friend standing right next to the mark. It's all fun and games till you stab your friend. It's basically a hit or a miss. And I wouldn't generally care about the world building or the magic if the characters were fleshed out, but since they weren't, everything was like very noticeably bad. I had to stop myself from laughing every time my character mentions the small science and how it works, like how everything is broken down into smaller molecules. But where the frick is the application, bruv? The application of the small sciences that you're mentioning every now and then? Why are we not applying what we're saying? An issue that I've been facing since the starting the OG trilogy with Leigh Bardugo's writing is that Ravka does not feel like a country. Fjorda does not feel like a country, and certainly Shuhan does not feel like a country. It's by how much of a cardboard cutout it is as a textbook evil country. It's kind of concerning since all of these countries are inspired by actual real countries that feel like countries to me. Ravka is a fantasy Russia. Shuhan is a fantasy China. Like, do you catch what I'm trying to say here? Ketterdam felt more like a country, another plus for Six of Crows, but I should stop dragging Six of Crows into everything. Ketterdam felt like an actual country because we know its people, we know its core. But it's not the same in like Ravka and Fjerda and Shuhan. Everything feels so mechanical in those countries and everything feels so princely. The people make the country and we don't know the people in any of those countries. However, in Ketterdam, it felt so raw and real and you kind of know the people around. So another plus for Six of Crows. The only masterpiece by Leigh Bardugo is Six of Crows, but now I'm wondering if she actually wrote it because I don't know, I'm not vibing with any of her other books, so it just kind of feels like someone ghost wrote it. Is ghost wrote a word? Ghost write is a word, ghost written is a word, so I guess ghost wrote is a word. I don't know. I thought by now, after 5 books, we would see like a new dimension of the countries, a solid foundation like Ketterdam, but no, we didn't get that, clearly. Rating. Since I'm a very generous, kind-hearted, loving human being, I'm gonna give this clusterfuck a solid 2 out of 5 stars. Stars I gave were for that line about Zoya. You know that line if you read it. Zoya of the Lost City, Zoya of the Garden, Zoya bleeding in the snow. And Leigh should have stopped writing right there, but she continued to write, "You are strong enough to survive the fall," and that is the cringiest line ever. What is this, a Tumblr post? So in my prose category, I just wrote that line. There's nothing else. Let's take a look at cons. Oh my god, there's a lot of cons. Oh yes, I totally forgot. We have to discuss the Dark Girls Who Sparkle situation thing. So spoilers ahead in case I didn't say it before. I'm saying this entire video is probably a huge ass spoiler and a huge con, but in case you missed it, I'm saying it now. I hate it when new books in the same world go back and undo all the fucking problems that have been solved and established in previously completed series. What was the point of these 3 books if you were gonna bring him back? What was the point of me reading them? What was the point of you writing them? Do you not value time? The Darkling should have stayed dead. There's nothing worse than an author not owning up to their characters' deaths. When a character dies and is brought back to life, it completely takes away the emotional impact. It is meaningless. And it's even worse when it's done out of fan service, because let's face it, it was done out of fan service. King of Scars, more like King of fan service. She sacrificed Nikolai's story. The book that should be his and bear his name only was anything but his. I am so extremely disappointed at this book and at myself for setting such high expectations. But how could one not set such high expectations after Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom? I still cannot digest that this was written after and not before. Leigh can deliver, but unfortunately with this one she didn't. That being said, I give any author 3 chances. So Ruin and Rising was the first strike and King of Scars was the second. I'm going to read Rule of Wolves because I heard that the crows are in it and I heard that it's just much fast paced and like better. So I want to see if it's worth it or not. But if I can't get past the first 50 pages, then I would DNF it immediately. I should have done that with this one. But I don't know, I just kept going on. So yeah, that is the plan. James Baldwin once said the curse of articulation is to have nothing to be articulate about. So, I mean, good job, author. You were articulate, but beyond that, I don't get the point of this book. Okay, bye. I forgot to do my outro, bruv. I've been Mansi, the host of this inconsistent and mediocre booktube channel. Subscribe. Maybe it's still so cringy to say that. I hope you have an immaculate day ahead. Yes, you. Don't forget it. Bye.